Hello and welcome to the Talking Stick Show. So my name is Dale and I'd like to welcome our special host. We have the grand Massey, Laura Massey. Hello.
Hi Dale, hi Amy, hello everybody. Hi.
Hello. And we have Amy Kruzek joining us again. Hello, Amy.
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for
And
having me
how have
here.
you been?
Been good. Yeah.
And what's going on with you? What's new in your life and your world?
Well, I've just been busy with the UCM community and been doing that and been kind of doing my show unscripted. It's kind of on hiatus. So I've been trying to do it in a different way, but I know I'm going to have Dale on and we're going to do an interview for your soul audit. Talk about that. Yes.
I don't know why I didn't add me.
I want you to. So I've been busy with that.
Beautiful. And Laura,
Okay,
what's going
any
on with
announcements? Have you got any announcements?
Oh,
yes.
Sorry, I try and string two words together. Have you got any announcements from UCM you need to make?
Yes. Well, if anybody would like to join the UCM community, Data and I are the admins there, which keeps me kind of busy. And it's at community.universaltv. Oh, sorry, guys. Erase that. community.universalcitizentv.com. And there's the little QR code there. And we have business clinics once a month. We have AI tools and software for your business and website. Very easy to use. We have certified courses in counseling, and which Laura is part of right now. And we're going to do a Yoga Alliance certification coming. I have no idea when, but it's coming soon. And resources and meditations. I mean, just come on and check it out.
Cool. You really are the spiritual alternative to YouTube and Facebook and so on, aren't you?
Yes.
A community of like minds.
Yes, we're becoming more professional and educational with spirituality thrown in there, if that makes sense. So yeah, we've kind of done a little twist to things. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Laura, so what's going on? What's coming up for you? What have you got going on lately?
Well, what we have got going on in Andrew's absence, we will mention his mentorship, which I believe is starting April the 4th. There's been an email sent out from GHHQ. So have a look and respond. Let us know if you'd like to come along. I believe there's a link on the email for you. I've done the mentorship. I think Dale has. Amy has.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. Every time he does another mentorship, he comes up with a different set of teachings. I don't know how he does it. I guess he's the Galactic Historian, so he can do it. But it's amazing. It can really propel your growth and your journey. Also, what is coming up is slight change of dates for the combined healing that was due to happen in April. So in April, we will have 2 haifu days for ladies. So that is a sacred feminine package for 2 days where you'll come to York, we'll go and do the usual lot of combined treatments. And on one of the days, you'll be able to have haifu, which is the high intensity, high frequency ultrasound for your feminine parts, for your vagina. So it's for vaginal tightening and many other things which are on the post now, which I won't go into. But there's also special sacred feminine meditations we're doing, and you'll get to experience the combined therapy system. And do it from a sacred feminine point of view. So that's still going on the 18th and 19th of April. And then we have moved the Paranormal Rangers tour to York and the combined therapies, which will be together with discounts on both. We have moved that to June. So new dates will be coming out soon. I think that's it, Dale. I think we're updated now.
And for myself, I will be as well offering a new healing modality called soul audit. So I'll be offering these as a one-to-one session. I offered this last week. I think I started doing it from 2 weeks ago. So if you'd like to have your soul audit, go on to daletobin.com and look on to book there. So soul audit is all about remanagement and how looking into one's dream weave and understanding what's needed in that moment for that client's growth. So I'm able to look into the ancestral lineage. I'm able to look into the tree of life. I'm able to communicate with the bear lodge, the dreaming lodge, the ancestors, and I work together with them as a team. It also includes some soul surgery, psychic surgery, soul retrieval as well, but it's more of an audit of your soul. So I'm able to actually say what's needed in the moment for you to actually be on the exact timeline you're meant to be, basically. Because a lot of people become scattered, a lot of soul shards send them off a rare into different kind of potentials and so on. So I'm able to how to show you the roadmap back to yourself. So it's very exciting because from the years of doing psychic surgery, I realized I was doing much more than just fixing people, adding stuff, putting people back together. There was much more going on now, and I'm excited to bring this new frequency to everyone. And also, I've got Psychic Surgery 1 as a product on my website now. So if you haven't done the Psychic Surgery 1 training, it's available to buy as a product on there. So yeah, cool. Let's get started. So fear. Let's talk about fear because we're talking about disengaging from fear porn. So let's break down the word fear first. Laura,
Well, I'm a bit frightened to talk about it, Dale. I might get censored. Fear, that's what insidiously creeps into our lives, either externally or something we hold internally. I was thinking about that before the show, Dale and Amy.
Yeah.
It's not just fear porn we associate with something external that comes through the global narrative that is designed to keep us in fight, flight, or freeze, divide and conquer, etc., etc., to keep us out of our sovereignty. That's the whole thing of external fear porn. And it's been going on for probably 2,000 years or more. But I also thought it's something we might look at later in the show, Dale, is our internal fear porn, that paranoia that we can build up when we get into lack of self-esteem, that inner voice, that inner demon that wants to take us over and put us into fear then. So there are
yes,
different types of fear porn. So yes, that is my understanding of it.
Amy, what's
Yeah,
fear mean to you?
that's really good, Laura. I mean, I agree with all of that. Okay, it's weird because I had like a childhood version of fear is different than an adult version of fear, if that makes sense. Like scared, like somebody scares you, or you have a fear of heights or the swing or something like that. But I think it's more now that I understand it more. It is something that is a belief inside that you thought you should be fearful of. And that could be, I don't know. It could be strangers, I mean, as a kid, like that type of thing. And then things I didn't know were like the TV and the news. Like I didn't know that was actually programming me, shows that you watch, like all that deep stuff. Does that make
Yes,
does that make
yes, it
sense?
makes perfect sense. Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense, Amy.
It's
And that's it.
almost an it's
Go
almost an
ahead.
unwelcome thing that's happening. Like I didn't welcome that in, but it came in unbeknownst to me. Yeah.
Yes. So if we break down the word fear, false evidence appearing real, and it's something we've, as Amy talked about, we've grown up and tried to figure out what's real, what's not real. But our belief system have sent us off on a ride many times. And this happened to me when I was a kid watching films, watching horror films, or just something what made me a bit nervous or scared. Then all of a sudden I'd think something was there and something wasn't there. A
Mhm.
good example here would be I watched Blair Witch Project, which was a horror film when I was a kid, and I was terrified. I was scared of it, but I loved it. And I remember going down to the woods, and I could see things and I could hear things, and I was making everything false evidence appear real then. And that was the start of the journey for me. It was like this nagging, this weird fear, which can connect to anxiety, can't it, a little bit sometimes? There can be like a crossover going on there. And as I grew older and older, there was just bigger challenges for me. And listening to the news, like going back to, I remember being in high school and September the 11th, that was a big one. I remember going into class, and I was a kid in year 7, I think I was. I must have been about 13, 12 or something. And the head teacher said, right, everyone get into this hall. And I went in, and there was Bush, and there was obviously talking about it, and you saw the Twin Towers. And I remember there was just subtle programming going on in my reality until the point where the next year some other shit would happen, or the next year like Jimmy Savile, or just stuff going on within the world. So I was kind of like, I think program is the right word to say, isn't it, guys? We get programmed so much, we're like sponges, and it just keeps seeping and seeping within us until we start to actually realize, no, we can't do this anymore.
And those who don't realise get into the long-term anxiety, which can lead to things like OCD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's something that just seeps in, and we have to become aware of the places that it's coming in from the global narrative, where it's coming in.
And that's it, being aware of your environment and seeing yourself from the eagle eye, allowing yourself to see what TV you watch, what you do during the day, what you look at your phone all the time, just subtly things which are going on in your reality. Like sometimes I'm a sucker for looking at the news. I've stopped doing it, but I used to be. I used to look at the news all the time, or I looked at a conspiracy or something, and there was just there was constant dopamine releases. But at the end of the day, it didn't get me anywhere in life, and I turned into a light worker, and that didn't do well. That didn't end up going well for me.
Yeah.
But they also they play on fears that we already have, don't they?
Yes,
They do.
The underlying fears we have, that's what they're playing on.
That's
So
it.
it's anything from lack, poverty, war.
Joel,
Yeah.
there's porn for every fear. Yes, great words, Joel.
And
And that's
anything
it. And
can be hijacked that they can put fear into, whether it be weather, climate change. I mean, we covered some of this on the Doomers and Gloomers show before. Overpopulation, anything like that.
climate change. I'm quite wary of what words I'm saying here. Trigger words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all remember that. So let's talk about CC. We'll call it CC. I'll just mention it and call it CC.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about CC. You know what I'm talking about here.
CC.
Yeah.
So that for me was a big thing, because before I was into the self-mastery, the self-healing, I always believed it, that the world was going to end, or it was going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. You saw people like Leonardo DiCaprio rallying and pushing forward this kind of false fear about, we need to do something for the planet because shit's going to go down. And I remember always sucking into it until I found Andrew's material, and I was realizing, what am I doing here?
Yeah, and the whole point of that is to take us away from our heart-based decisions, heart-mind judgments, into adrenal, isn't it? Anything like that. That's what it does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, related to the CC, I believed it at one time, and then I realised that is a natural.
What happened? Laura.
I think Laura has gone. Let's see. Laura, are you there? I think Laura has.
Yeah.
So for me, that the CC, you know what we're talking about here,
Yeah,
climate
yeah,
change.
yeah.
I'm just trying to say it that much because it probably flagged up. But there was a time where, I did believe it. I did give into it. And like Laura said, you actually start becoming acidic with this fear constantly coming at you, and learning heart-based skills, learning self-mastery is very important. it'd be interesting in the chat as well if anybody's got any questions or any experience they've had about fear porn or just growing up in the world around them. Just some of the things what went on. If you'd like to put it in the chat, it'd be great to hear some of those.
Yeah, and also you have to, with that CC, you have to remember about all the groups that formed because of that added to it, like Peace Corps. Well, would it be Greenpeace or Save the Whales or,
Yes.
all of that, you'd get stuff in the mail about it. Like it was just inundated.
Yes.
So they kind of know what
like,
they're doing. They kind of know, like, let's just inundate them with things.
and it's like a new season every year. So one season they'll go on about the CC, the next season it'll be about war, the next season it'll be about refugees, the next season it'll be about something. It's kind of like just constantly the next season to the next. There's a new film going on. There's a new film going on. And a lot of people actually just spend time during the day just watching the news every night. And I have family members like
Me
that.
too.
And they just suck it up. It's literally on a night time, they put the telly on, watch the news, and all of a sudden they're in the system. They're in the fear. They're in the acidic mode. They don't really trust what's around them. They give insurance. They pay a lot for insurance because that's what they want you to do. They want you to be scared, so you give the system more money and allow the farm to kind of like feed off you in a way.
And what do you
Because
think?
we're the cow.
Yeah, what happens in the body, Dale, when you this is constant 24/7 watching the news? I don't.
So
yeah.
So with the body, it would be the programs. So you're basically, the soul will step to the side, the programs will completely take over you, and all these people who watch TV all day, news, 98% of their day they'll be in program Agent Smith mode. So they'll just be constantly programmed. They'll be constantly doing things. It's like I know someone in my close family member, and she's always in program mode. There's not actually one time where the soul's actually there. She's listening. She's understanding. There's a heart kind of connection going on there. So I'd say for the body, it would go into different states of programs. They'd be very ungrounded. They'd be very unhappy. I'd say there'd be a lack of their own personality. There'd be lack of consciousness there for them. The body would probably be in an acidic state, a stress state. So what does stress happen with stress, Amy? What are some of the things what go on there? Because that does lead, that's a connection to all the fear porn. Stress, it puts the body under stress.
It does. It's almost another type of fear, right? Like that fear puts on another fear, puts on another. It just like layers to me. That's what it feels like. And then you don't really know what's real or what is going on. You can't even dig yourself out of it. It's bizarre because I have the same family members that I don't even bring it up. It's like I'm not even bringing it up. I don't know if you're the same way, but it's like I'm not going there. Yeah.
Or the best one is where the king's coronation. I always have to hold my breath. So I went round to my mum's and she was having like a coronation party, and she kept turning around and looking at me, and she went, "I know you're not a royalist." And I'm like, and I remember saying, I said, "I'm not engaging here. Don't ask me what I believe, please." Yeah. Then someone turned around and asked me what I thought of it, and I didn't go into kind of like telling them what I thought. I just said, it's not something I really enjoy doing. Or politics, when you bring up politics at a family event, and everyone starts arguing, then someone asks me a question, and I try and be peaceful and nice and not have one side and listen to everyone's, but I still get fucking grilled.
Yes, it's so true.
Dale's royal phallus. Yes. Joel in the chat there.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking too, like, I think it was in one of the mentorship classes or something happened where when you're in utero, like whatever year you were born in, go back and look at the history of that, because whatever your mother was watching or doing, and that again is something that has already, you didn't even ask for it, was unwelcomed, but it is kind of programmed there.
Yes. And so, Laura, I'd like to ask you this question, because Amy asked me a great question while you froze there. was what do you think happens to the body then when you're going through this state of fear porn? The actual body.
That's your body. You have more adrenaline release, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So it puts you, long term, that puts you in greater degrees of stress within your body. And to have a stressful body means you're more susceptible to illnesses, diseases, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's taking you away from your heart base.
The sympathetic.
And that is what's designed. That's what it's designed to do, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about, fear porn. We're not just talking about natural fear of, like, if a bear comes up to you, because that is, like, hopefully short-lived. you either run or you're dead.
Yeah.
But the fear porn downloads that are delivered all the time without us sometimes even knowing it I think that's what causes the long-term anxiety in people.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them susceptible then to, if you want, greater rule. It's the old divide and conquer rule, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Layer after layer of control. That's what they want you in. To be
Yeah.
controlled, feeding the system, not even knowing you have a choice of life, not even knowing you have choice of sovereignty, not even knowing that you're connected to grandmothers and grandfathers and how incredibly potent and powerful you are as a being. There's always, it's just they're trying to separate us at birth. And everyone listening, everyone watching, following Andrew, me, Laura, Amy, whoever, we all want change and we all want to go on a different path than that because we've seen truth and we understand truth. And we've gone through many different experiences of darkness or betrayal or our own programs kicking off. And we're here today, ready to learn, ready to change. And what an interesting topic.
Yeah. So there is some sort of like acceptance of it, isn't there? There wasn't.
Unknowingness.
Yeah. Unawareness. Right. There wasn't.
Yeah. And I guess sometimes an awareness because we've got to live in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
But it's also it tends to get to places almost before us. So like conspiracy probably started off with a lot of truth, but that gets co-opted by the system as well.
Yes.
And then a lot of those get turned into fear.
Yeah.
Planet Nibiru.
Even like simple things like I'm just remembering like at the dentist office the other day. I mean, they have the news going. You know, all the doctor's offices now have TVs. Like it's like it's almost like, oh my goodness, and it's loud. Why is it so loud? Why can't you just have the volume off? You know,
you will get this message. We will imprint. Yes, we will imprint on you. Yeah. Didn't you hear me the first time?
I know.
I'm going to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until it's absolutely part of your parasympathetic.
Yes. Yes.
We've got you.
Oh, we got you. We got you. I actually, this is strange, but I actually carry earplugs in my purse because sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to hear that.
No. And all the subliminal stuff as well, all that subliminal advertising and that goes on.
Oh my God, pharmaceutical. Yeah, that's another thing. You're sick, you need this. You're sick, you need this. And yes, I thank goodness for pharmaceutical, or I would be dead by now. But you know, but there is that push, you know, and then the doctors push it on you.
And that's it, the fine line. Like even when you talk about pharmaceuticals, doctors, a lot of people become light workers or go so far up the fear of even the system that they don't get antibiotics or they don't get tablets which are going to give them 10 years of life extra. So it's about trying to find the medium balance and going back to obviously being neutral, being in the stance where you see all sides and you don't take sides and you understand what is actually needed for the moment. The amount of people who kill themselves or do destructive things because they don't go to the doctor. The amount of times we've had that time and time again because they're in fear. They've been completely programmed, even not from the system, but might be programmed from the conspiracy. And this is another thing, obviously. It's not just the system. It's also the conspiracy theorists and some people out there who have podcasts who just talk about darkness, fear, the aliens invading, or someone getting attacked or out like that, those also are using and working kind of with the system in a way to
Yeah.
continue on doing the
Yeah.
job, even though they're not kind of paid by them in the metaphor sense. They're still feeding the machine, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's only noticing the negative things in life and not noticing the joys. But
Yes,
that's what media puts forward all the time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
there we go.
I
Mm-hmm.
think somebody said once, says, we need a good news channel.
Yeah. Do you know
I
one?
think there was one. I don't. Joel, you might have heard of this. Do you remember Andrew going on a show with a guy called Sean? He's that famous director's son.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know who you're
Sean
talking.
Stone. Sean
Yes, yes,
Stone.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sean
I
Stone.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean Stone actually had a new. It might actually be still going. He had a news channel where it gave you true news each week or every
Mm-hmm.
day or something like that. So there was actually that, but again, it was just like a fart in the wind. It didn't really have much
Yeah.
push onto the narrative. Yeah,
Okay, so Dale, when you said that, how do we
buzzsaw. That's it.
okay, how do we
Go on.
know what the truth really is? I think okay, so Sean had that show, Sean Stone. And how do we know
Yes.
that he was telling the truth? Like where like how you can just go like how do we know? I guess it's here in our in our heart like
Yeah.
just know. You just know. Like I don't know. That's why I don't listen to it anymore.
That's it.
That's why. It's
I think there's like a kind of an inner knowingness, and if you really do
Mm-hmm.
the inner work and do the balancing, the grounding skills, you can just sense what's bullshit and not
Mhm.
straight away. It's like when someone's giving you an absolute load of bullshit sandwich and you can just see it straight away.
Mhm.
It's kind of like that inner sense, isn't there? And with that guy, I think he had a lot of good people around him and he was very interesting. I highly recommend people go and watch that interview with Andrew. I think he had two of
Oh
them.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really, really incredible, and he's got a lot. I'm not really kept up to date with his stuff now,
Oh
actually,
wait,
but yeah,
Kimberly
must
said
go back.
Russell Brand. What about Russell
Yes,
Brand?
so Russell Brand again, and I had a conversation with Andrew about this at Combined because we had similar thoughts on it. So I listened to Russell Brand for a long time, and I think he's an incredible person. He is a heart-based person and is authentic.
Mhm.
But because of what's happened to him, with all the shit what happened to him, the allegations against him, and so on, it made him go into anger. And this is
Ah.
what I've seen lately with him. He's using it now for anger instead of actually using it to spread the truth. You can tell there's a lot of anger and pissed offness with what's happened to
Mm.
him in there. So I've had to stop listening to him. But I'm sure he may turn it around. Zealotry, yeah, spot on.
Mhm.
I
But
think the
he's
other
great.
thing is to point out is certain things are true for you at certain times. So I believed golden age of Gaia and all the other stuff that we've talked about before, that we were going to be saved by the aliens and so on. And that was true for me at the time. And then different things become true for you as you go along your journey. And hopefully, if you're going on the right evolutionary path, you're going to drop a lot of those untruths and the things they want you to believe to hold you back. But that's because you're becoming much more into your heart spaced awareness. And as I think you two are saying just now, to find out whether something is true or not is just whether it's true for you in that
Mhm.
moment, isn't it?
Mhm.
So I've got some very, very lovely friends who, still absolutely believe in CC, as we're calling
Mhm.
it,
Mhm.
and things like that. And I've got to the stage where I realize it's not my place to try and convince anybody of anything
Mhm.
because that is their truth.
Mhm.
And that's what they need at this moment on their journey, and maybe later on they'll get to see some of the signs which show us that really when the climate changes, it's a natural thing that Earth is doing. It's like we're getting a lot of rain at the moment in the south of England. I think you are in the north as well, Dale, aren't you?
Mm.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so many people want to say it is a change of climate. Putting it another way. But when you ask Andrew, and that's what feels right to me, he said it's Earth Mother cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
Earth Mother is moving her waters to where she needs to move them to. Now, that feels right for me, but it might not feel right for somebody else. So I think, it is based on where you are on your journey. But this show is about don't be fooled, isn't it? In this show, we're saying, look at this insidious fear porn that's coming out, that what it's doing is disabling you. It's disabling your journey. Because if you were to investigate it thoroughly and use heart space discernment, you'll probably arrive at the same sort of point that we have. But it's not necessarily what everybody's going to do for their part of the journey at the moment. But I think it is a responsibility with us to sort of discuss it and point it out and say, hey, look, they've been pulling, I think I'll put it in the revocation I'll read in a minute, the wool over our collective eyes for a long time. That's what they've been doing, and giving us a lot of half-truths, mistruths, and so on, in order to keep us dominated. And we're all about sovereignty, everybody here on the show. Hopefully all the people who listen to us are about self-sovereignty and mastering our own lives. Compassion and unconditional love and equal co-creation and non-competition, all those things we've learned from Andrew. So I think it's really a valid show, even though everybody will have their own view. It's a really valid show to actually offer people the choice, isn't it? That choice of awareness.
Well, they call it the three-sided sword, don't they? The three-edged sword. Your truth,
Yes.
my truth, and the truth.
Yeah.
So you've got my truth, someone else's truth, but you've got the truth within the middle.
Yeah.
And that's I remember Andrew saying that. I think it was in the Galactic History. I remember listening to it about 10 years ago, that statement. It's always stuck with me. It's always